from WTVO 17 and your home team. Eyewitness News at 6 starts now.
The 4th of July wouldn't feel right if it didn't end with a bang. But before that, we'll show you how the experts prepare to shoot the first firework into the air. Plus, a new mural is now on display in Rockford. How hundreds of hands helped make this design come to life. And lawmakers on the East Coast are urging inspectors to take a closer look at buildings following the deadly collapse in Florida in hopes to prevent another disaster. Good evening, I'm Alexis Carpello. Tomorrow night, downtown Rockford sky will be lit up with a spectacular fireworks show. So what does it take to pull off the 30-minute live show? I caught up with the man behind it all. On July 4th, thousands of fireworks will shoot into the sky overlooking downtown Rockford. After a year off due to COVID, the celebration is back.
Each shell goes up about 100 feet per inch. So we're up to about 600 feet on the total distance of about with 6-inch shells.
And the show is all thanks to this guy, Mike Zuzak. He's been with Melrose Pyrotechnics for over 20 years. Not only is he in charge of setting off and lighting these, he actually designed the entire show, which is synced to music.
I listen to the music and I just decide where I want to put a hit, a cue for that particular point of the song. So this is a 4-inch shell. And you got lift on the bottom of these shells. When the igniter will light this black match here, and it shoots it all the way through here, it lights the fuse down on the bottom, lights the lift, and the lift bursts it up in the air.
Mike and his crew got into Rockford at 9 this morning. They'll spend the next 2 days putting each shell into their mortar, the black tube. There's also electrical igniters that plug into the firing system. And tomorrow night, a computer helps make the magic happen.
So the computer, once it gets that sync from the radio station, it starts to running the program, and it shoots as I programmed it to shoot throughout the show.
So what is Mike's favorite part of the show? It's not the burst of light into the night sky, but your reaction to his creation.
At the end, when I hear the crowd response, because if I hear the crowd, I know I did my job right. And I mean, that's just nothing better. Then it makes you feel good.
The two biggest pieces of advice from Mike: 1, leave the fireworks to the professionals, and don't forget the music. Since these are synced to music, watching the show without the music would be a dud. Rockford's Mayor Tom McNamara says he'll be out celebrating the 4th with his family this weekend. He tells us the parade is one of his favorites of the year. What Mayor McNamara is looking forward to the most is what we just showed you, the preparation of the fireworks show.
I'm just really excited. I'm going to probably try to find a very quiet place that me and my wife can walk to. We live near downtown, so we're hoping to walk to a place that we can see the fireworks and just be together.
Mayor McNamara continued, saying that this 4th of July is an opportunity to reflect after having to cancel last year's celebration on what makes America wonderful. Those sticking around Rockford this weekend have plenty of activities to check out. The 4th of July parade kicks off at 5 downtown. Afterwards, find a good spot to watch the fireworks or join us starting at 8 p.m. over on WTVO 17 for a celebration of freedom. We'll highlight special people and programs right here in the state line, followed by the fireworks show starting at 9:30. There are plenty of firework displays this weekend that you can leave to the professionals. Saturday night, head to the Rockford Speedway, Davis Junction, or Winnebago for fireworks shows. Then on Sunday, Rochelle, Cherry Valley, Beloit, and Durand all have a show at dusk. If you were hoping to take in the fireworks from the Rock River in downtown Rockford, there's some closures you should know about. Starting at 7 Sunday night, the river will be shut down between the Chestnut Street and Morgan Street bridges. A no-wake zone will be in place as well. That affects boaters south of the Auburn Street Bridge. All those restrictions will be lifted after the fireworks show is over. The Winnebago County Sheriff's Office says it will be patrolling the river over the holiday weekend. Now, we know many celebrations are going to be happening in the state line this weekend, but we want to share some tips health experts are saying to do to stay safe. The Consumer Product Safety Commission says on average 250 people go to the ER every day with firework-related injuries around the 4th of July holiday. Most fireworks are illegal in Illinois, but even the legal ones are risky.
About a quarter of all ER visits are due to legal fireworks in the state of Illinois. So sparklers, for instance, can be relatively, dangerous if used inappropriately, given to children who are too young to handle them, or lit in a way they shouldn't be, which we see occasionally where people wrap a lot of sparklers together or light them in a way where they cause a larger fire and can be potentially harmful.
Dr. Kemp reminds everyone to have a bucket of water or a hose nearby. Make sure young children are also kept a safe distance. Again, don't forget to tune in tomorrow here starting at 8 p.m. right here on WTVO for a celebration of freedom. Evening anchors Eric Wilson, Mimi Murphy, Chief Meteorologist Candace King, and myself will be in downtown Rockford bringing you the sights, sounds, and stories of the celebration. Police shut down an intersection in Rockford for a crash investigation last night. 4 vehicles were involved. It happened on Whitman and Church Streets. Police tweeted around 10:30 last night saying people were hurt. We'll update you once we know more details that become available. A new mural is unveiled in Rockford after hundreds of hands helped make it come together. The Rockford Public Library now has a new design on the side of its building. 300 kids helped work on the project with the artist. It took a month to finish. The artist tells us the inspiration came from the idea of reading, bringing color into your life and now the city's streets.
With the process of the imagination, when you are reading what happened in your mind, when you are reading all the colors, all the dreams, everything that's happening inside you.
Montero says a lot of the inspiration came from some of his favorite books as a kid. Lawmakers along the southeast coast are concerned about their safety for their communities following the deadly collapse in Florida, why they're urging inspectors to take a closer look.
And we just missed the 90-degree mark here in Rockford, but that won't be the case for the 4th of July. More details on your holiday forecast coming up.
You're watching Eyewitness News, your home team, with Alexis Carpello, David Greenberg, and meteorologist Kevin Doom.
The Surfside building collapse is raising concerns for not only the safety of nearby buildings, but structures up and down the southeast coast. While the exact cause has yet to be determined, lawmakers say the collapse serves as a warning to other coastal communities to ensure homes and businesses are safe. Washington correspondent Kelly Meyer shares more as she's keeping you connected to the nation's capital.
I spoke with several lawmakers about concerns they have for their coastal towns. The collapse has them asking, are the communities safe?
Lawmakers along the southeast coast are concerned about the safety of buildings on the beaches of their states after the deadly building collapse in Surfside, Florida.
This is certainly something that we all need to be aware of.
I personally do have concern representing a coastal community.
Georgia Congressman Buddy Carter and South Carolina Congresswoman Nancy Mace say inspectors are taking a second look at buildings of all sorts up and down the coast.
We have marshlands, we have towns that are built on landfill, we have sea level rise and flooding issues.
While the exact cause of the collapse is still under review, officials say there were warning signs. A letter sent months before the collapse warned there was damage to the building that was getting worse.
Carter says it underlines the importance of building reviews.
How important ordinances are, how important inspections and maintenance is. All of that is extremely important, particularly around the coast.
Florida Congresswoman Kathy Castor says it's also important to consider the effects of climate change.
We have a climate crisis, extreme heat, all sorts of building standards and codes have got to be updated.
Back in South Florida, officials ordered the evacuation of a condo building just 5 miles away from the collapse after a review found unsafe conditions. City, state, and federal leaders hope to prevent another disaster.
This is a freak accident, but I think that most of the areas in America are going to learn from this.
Reporting in Washington, I'm Kelly Meyer.
Coming up later in sports, the Cubs are looking to get back in the win column from Cincinnati after losing 7 straight games. Plus, it's going to be pretty toasty for the 4th. Joey will let us know what you should prepare for coming up in his full first warn weather forecast. You're watching Eyewitness News at 6.
Now, your first warm weather forecast with meteorologist Joey Marino.
Good evening, everyone. It was a hot afternoon across the area. We had a lot of sunshine, but thankfully the humidity wasn't really an issue. Dew points throughout the afternoon stayed in the low 60s, and it made it feel a little muggy, but not overly humid for any outdoor activities for the start of the 4th of July weekend. Temperatures right now as we roll into the evening hours, 83 in Freeport, 87 in Rockford, 81 in DeKalb, and 88 up in Janesville. Now, as we get a look at our dew points, still in the low 60s, a couple of spots now dropping into the upper 50s, but we're going to stay a little muggy as we head into the night tonight, but also pretty quiet. Now, you notice that the sky is a little hazy. That's because we still have wildfire smoke making its way down from the Canadian prairies, but thankfully with that wildfire smoke, not going to make for any disruptions to air quality as we roll into tonight. But pretty quiet out there, mostly clear skies as we get into the evening hours, and that's because we have an area of high pressure just to our southwest. You can see just how expansive this high pressure system is, keeping things under control across the Midwest and the Great Lakes. So tonight, going to see mostly clear skies. By the time we head into tomorrow morning, temperatures slowly dropping into the upper 60s. So it is going to be a mild start. That mild start is going to tell the tale for the rest of the day because we're going to see temperatures quickly rise into the afternoon for the 4th of July. Let's take a look at Futurecast. You can see that we do have a little bit of haze that's going to stick around into the overnight hours. We have a bit of cloud cover moving in for tomorrow morning, but I think we're going to have a mix of clouds and sun. Temperatures are going to climb into the low 90s, not the warmest 4th of July on record, but we're going to stay hot and also a little breezy for the afternoon. Then as we get into the evening hours, even into tomorrow night, going to stay pretty dry ahead of maybe a system that's going to be tracking to our north, but not going to be expecting much with that system as we roll into the start of the work week. So the hottest 4th of July is on record. 2012 holds the top spot with 102 degrees. Then you can see we go to 5th place, 1949 with 96 degrees. But as we head into the 4th, we're going to start off mild. Temperatures are going to be climbing pretty quickly into the afternoon. We'll see a high of 94 degrees, partly cloudy skies, hot and breezy. You can see we get into the low 90s by about 3 o'clock and then jump into the low 80s by the time we're going to be setting those fireworks off in downtown. So still, as we get into the 4th of July, you're going to want to make sure to take heat safety into account. So that means limit strenuous outdoor activity, drink plenty of water, take frequent breaks in the shade, and also it's pretty important with extreme heat that you give the heat safety to your pets and also to your neighbors. Make sure to check on those pets. Don't leave them outside. Make sure they have plenty of water as well. But if you have any plans, maybe going downtown, or if you're going to have family and friends over, just make sure that you have plenty of water for everybody and make sure to stay hydrated during this heat. We're going to hold on to this heat as we head into the start of the work week, Monday and Tuesday, both featuring high temperatures in the low 90s. Then we're going to watch as a cold front makes its way in, chopping our temperatures down from the 90s into the 70s for Wednesday and Thursday. Alexis?
Well, thanks for breaking the 4th down for us, Joey. David Greenberg joins us next with sports. The Milwaukee Bucks are one game away from the NBA Finals, but will have to try and win tonight, once again, without their star player. Plus, a hole-in-one on a holiday weekend, not too bad for this professional golfer at the Rocket Mortgage Classic.
Now, the Napleton Sports Desk with David Greenberg.
The Bucks' second-tier starters stepped up in Giannis's absence in Game 5, with 4 out of 5 of them scoring 20-plus points en route to a 123-112 win. They'll need those same type of performances because Giannis's status was officially updated from doubtful to out for tonight's Game 6. He did make the trip with the team to Atlanta. Head coach Mike Budenholzer said he hasn't been able to participate in any basketball activities yet, but did go through some workouts in the weight room. As of now, the Hawks star Trae Young is dealing with an injury as well. Young is listed as a game-time decision, and will go through pregame warm-ups to see how the bone bruise on his right ankle feels. Nonetheless, the Bucks are one win away from the NBA Finals and are looking to punch their ticket tonight.
You know, obviously no one can replace Giannis. He's freaking two-time MVP, so much of what we do. And no one person's going to replace that. It's a matter of everyone stepping up, and I think everyone showed that they're capable of doing that tonight.
The Cubs are currently in the deep end without a life jacket. They've lost 7 straight games. Their double-digit, over 500 record has plummeted down to now just 2 games, as they're currently 42-40. They were trying to break that streak again from Cincinnati after last night's 2-1 loss. They could really use this guy to get going. Chris Bryant smokes this deep to left and gone. That makes it 2-0 Cubs. But as I've coined him, the Cub killer, Joey Votto, mashes this to center field. Going back on it is Patrick Wisdom. He runs out of real estate. This one leaves the park for a solo shot in the fourth. The Cubs are down bad, y'all. That's 8 straight losses, dropping this one 3-2. Much different story for the Sox, who have now won 5 in a row. We're back at it again in Detroit this afternoon. That's Jose Abreu driving in Tim Anderson for the first run of the game to put the Sox on top in the first. Then in the fifth, Tigers are up a run now, but it's the same duo again to tie it up. The single for Abreu drives in Anderson again. We're all square at 3. Later that inning, Lori Garcia destroys this ball high and deep to left center, way back over to Little Caesars sign. A 2-run home run puts the Sox up by 2, but the Tigers are going to pick up the win as they storm back to win this one 11-5. Just a short drive from Comerica Park, where the Sox were, is the Detroit Golf Club that's hosting the Rocket Mortgage Classic, and one man who made a big jump today was Kevin Kisner up on the green at the 8th. Just drips this in for his 3rd straight birdie. But the shot of the day came from the leader, Troy Merritt, on the 11th tee. Par 3, 218 yards with a 5-iron, 1 bounce, and kerplunk. A hole-in-one for Troy Merritt. How about that? Well, I know it's the summer. We're not really thinking about football, but recent reports are that as of right now, there is no trade market for the reigning MVP Aaron Rodgers. That being said, things could change if Rodgers means business and does not show up to training camp, forcing the Packers' hand. That's it for sports. We'll be right back.
Joey's back with one last look at our forecast.
Joe, holiday weekend looking mighty nice outside for tomorrow.
Yeah, you know, the heat may not make the forecast a hole-in-one, but we still got dry conditions.
Like that.
Yeah, there you go. You like that
Very
one?
nice.
Yeah,
well done, my friend.
We got a hot one for the 4th of July tomorrow. We're pretty quiet right now as we take a look at our interactive radar, sponsored by Rockford Auto Glass and more. We have a lot of sunshine out there, a little hazy as well, but as we head into the 4th of July, definitely looking dry. We'll have sunshine throughout the day, but you definitely want to make sure to take heat safety into account, not only for yourself, but friends, family, or whatever plans that you have for the 4th of July. We continue to have that heat into the start of next week. Low 90s, then you can see we cool down a lot going into Wednesday and Thursday. 70s for both those days, and still looking pretty cool as we head into next weekend as well. It's going to be a hot one for the 4th of July, but thankfully no weather that will impact the show as the fireworks going off.
Water will be important,
yes,
for sure.
If you know someone with a pool, go jump right in.
And if you know anyone with a pool, make sure you invite us
yes.
as well. We would love awesome. to take a nice dip.
Well, thanks for making us your home team. We'll see you at 10.